What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome. I am the Crypto Crow. It's currently about 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I figure rather than try to stream live today and just kind of deal with the low end internet that I've got here, I figured I would just record something and upload it for the day and see what kind of discussion it might spawn in the comments down below. If you like my content, if you appreciate what I do, what I've done since 2017, please drop me a like if you don't mind. Subscribe, hit the alert bell. You know the drill. Obviously, we all have to be reminded. I know I do as well. But we're going to talk about Cardano today and basically a lot of examples of what I'm talking about when I refer to now is the time to build, because obviously with the whole world in different forms of hysteria and craziness and nonsensical day-to-day headlines and it just doesn't seem like anything makes sense, and the markets are in an uproar. Everything seems to have been declining. Well, it has been declining for a while. Now, some of you guys, you may have seen me last night on BitBoy's channel talking about Cardano, and everybody knows me that I am huge on Cardano. And for the record, I just exchanged a little bit of a chat with Charles Hoskinson. I think we're going to do an interview soon. I think we're going to record it though, and then I'll upload it. I don't think I'm going to do it live because I just don't think my bandwidth can handle it right now. And because I've got so many projects that, well, not really so many. I mean, I've got a few right on Cardano, and I have been personally focused on, after the peak of the last market. Everybody knows, I had moved to Puerto Rico. I lived there 6 months, and bought a house and a car, and we're just doing everything we're supposed to do. And ultimately we left all the tax benefits and all that stuff behind for a multitude of reasons, really. Because there's one thing that I want to remind everyone, and there's something that I think that on a grand scale people forget. As a society in the United States, so many of us have grown so entitled and so spoiled with the way things are here, and you really don't know or realize it until you go somewhere else. Okay. Now, before it sounds like I'm just going to completely dump on Puerto Rico, I'm not. Puerto Rico to me is like it's like one giant community, right? It's like, it's an island. I mean, obviously it's a tropical island. The heat for me was too much. It was just too much. I'm like a big snow ogre. Okay. I don't handle 95 degree heat, 83 degrees at 2 a.m. I don't really handle that well, especially without central air. Okay. That was honestly one of my biggest hurdles with Puerto Rico. And I always say this because it's true. My wife and I, we met so many people in Puerto Rico who were so awesome. And, the nature of how drastic not just the culture shift, it took us both a while. I don't know that I ever got used to it, but it's just the way everything is different. The language barrier. A lot of people say, oh, if you don't speak English, most people in Puerto Rico do, so don't worry. And that's not really true. I mean, there are a lot of people, and primarily the younger people in Puerto Rico speak English well, right? But when you get into those situations where they don't speak English, forget it. Like it's like impossible to achieve anything, to get anywhere. That was a hurdle for me because I didn't learn Spanish. I've always wanted to learn Chinese and Russian personally, which is kind of funny because it'd probably be real useful here in the next 5 or 6 years. But I've always wanted to learn those languages. I mean, for years and years, I've just never, it's the same as me wanting to learn like Python or a programming language. It's like, it's one of those things that you have to do day in and day out, and I just haven't had the time. And there's so much good about Puerto Rico, so I don't want anybody to think that I'm knocking it. It's one of those things where when you make friends those friends are like, those people are, they're legit. Like there are no secrets in Puerto Rico. It's like everybody there is very, very open, very honest, very upfront. They all kind of reminded me of me in some ways. I mean, at least the people we met. And everybody's just who they want to be, and it's like no big deal. Obviously with the pandemic and the way that affected Puerto Rico, that was a big problem, because it almost felt like, let's just say this, it almost felt like I was in a World War II video game. Okay. I mean, just, show me your papers, that kind of stuff. It was pretty insane. And it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And we're like, you know what? One thing after another, we got to get out of here. Okay. Now, I'm sure a lot of that has gotten better and subsided. I don't know. But the power infrastructure there is really, really bad. Even with solar, it still posed a lot of problems and things. Now, it definitely helped. It helps to have solar on your property. Let's just say that. But anyway, in a nutshell, we basically moved away. And given all the experience that we encountered there, you realize just how well we have it here in the States. And I know there's so much craziness going on. I mean, the political nature of the United States has gotten to the point where it's almost all engulfing. I mean, it's invasive. It's a part of everything. It's like, and maybe that's my own bubble at the same time. You could be watching this thing. I don't even know what you're talking about, Crow. I don't see any of that. I don't care. So, and maybe that's true. Maybe it's my algorithms, my social media, my YouTube, my everything that I touch. It's just constantly dumping all of this political stuff on me. And it's probably because I'm always watching it. So my own little bubble ultimately and I wish I could change it. I want to change it. I've tried to change it. I'd much rather, I try to get more comedy and more, fun stuff going on in my algorithms, but it's difficult. So, I guess the point I'm trying to make here is that, yeah, while everything seems pretty crazy, and it is, let's be real. I mean, everything is pretty crazy. It's like the headlines used to be, so minuscule, just hate and just bad, but it was all very, very, very targeted. Now, everything in the world is falling apart, and we're reading about it and seeing it each and every day, and it's depressing. And I get a lot of messages from people saying, yo, Crow, everything is so depressing. I'm so depressed. I don't know what to do. So I'm going to tell you basically what I'm doing and what I'm trying to do to maintain my focus on the future. Obviously you see my Murder of Crows NFT collection. That is it's not a get rich anything. It's just, they're like 10,000, unique, fun crows, right? It's art. It's cartoonish. It's fun. There's utility associated with these. There's just different stuff going on. And like, we're going to be using these for blocks. We're going to be using these for a lot of different things. There's obviously a treasure hunt that's been ongoing that I checked just yesterday. Nobody solved it yet, which is blowing my mind. I knew it was going to take some time, though. I mean, it gets more and more difficult as you move into it. And I think a lot of people are stuck a little around halfway through. So, and there's 24 of these puzzles and ciphers and things. So, I started this as kind of a fun thing. It's something I've always wanted to do. And, I think we've got, I don't know, like 3,650 of them sold through or something like that. I haven't been doing big marketing pushes. I haven't been trying to build a bunch of hype around them. I kind of want them to just grow and be adopted over time. It's not like, buy these NFTs and you're going to get so rich someday. It's not like that. I don't even want it to be like that. If they grow in value because people are trading them and they like them in the future, great. And I've got some other things that I'm going to show you because, my blocks, I'm going to show you blocks. I'm going to show you, this is these are going to be 3 different NFTs that we're going to be launching for blocks. And they're basically going to be governance NFTs. And I'm going to explain that in a bit. This one's my favorite. And I created all of this on Midjourney. So if you guys aren't familiar with that, Midjourney is this AI art engine that basically you can type in what you want and refine it and change it. I went through 30 different renditions of 30 different variations of all these and to get the best one. But all of these are blocks. Everything's built from blocks, right? And it's like building a community of blocks. So, and it worked out really well. This is by far my favorite. It's a block city. And, I'm going to dive into that. One of these days, I'm going to do a full video on Midjourney, because it really is pretty cool. If you're not familiar with it, it's pretty slick. So the whole premise of this video is about building. It's about building in the bear market. Now, for a lot of you guys that are out there watching, this isn't necessarily saying build an application, right? Not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, when I say build in the bear market, I mean build your own personal foundation for what we expect to come. Okay. So that could be something as simple as, if you don't already have a Cardano wallet or a crypto wallet, get one. Start getting active, start learning how to use it, start learning some of the intricacies of that wallet, how it works, how to send, receive, any other functions, that sort of thing. You're building awareness, you're building your understanding. It's all about building right now. How do you use an exchange? Let me know in the comments below, because this is something I've been really thinking about doing. It's something my wife has said I should do. I want to do a really high-end, informative, really, really detailed course on crypto. And I've done courses in the past. I did one course, I made the whole thing in a day, and it was informative, but I kind of want to start. I've been really thinking I need to build. So much has changed, so much has happened, and there's so many more things to come. And I really want to start capturing those newcomers again and guiding them in the right direction. I feel like I've learned so much in the crypto space since 2017, kind of what to expect, pitfalls that you want to avoid, things that you want to try and avoid. The idea that, I used to think, hey, you invest money into like 35 different projects and the cream will rise to the top, and, you're going to win some, lose some. And that is true. Ultimately, I just think that there's a lot to be learned. So let me know in the comments below if you think that might be a good idea. Would you support it? Would you help? Would you share it? Would you send it to friends? Would you tell them, hey, this is going to be a great place? Because I want to do something pretty high end. Okay, so all that being said, I want to talk a little bit. Like right now, this is Cardano's dev team set to launch the first light wallet. Now, this is the Lace wallet, which I am suddenly very, very anxious to get into. I want to start using this because this looks really, really slick. And right now there's not a lot of information, but if you look at these screenshots and how beautiful the interface is, I'm like, yes, yes, and yes, yes, please. We need this. We need something with all the functionality of like Eternal Wallet, NAMI. I want to be able to see all my NFTs. I want to see everything broken down. And it's like, I love my Daedalus wallet, which is what I primarily use, but I really just, I want, I was hoping that moved a little bit, but no. So anyway, I really like this wallet from what I'm seeing so far, and I can't wait to use it. I have signed up on their newsletter. I want to get it, and I want to play with it. I want to learn how to use it. So that being said, Lace wallet looks like it's going to be pretty sharp. I'm definitely looking forward to this. This is like 4 months old, and it's the newest article I've seen to come out about it. Overall, it's a platform that combines digital assets with an NFT gallery and a DApp connector that includes easy staking to make entry into the Web3 seamless as well as enjoyable. I can't wait. I cannot wait for this. So that's that. Now, Cardano is in the midst of network activity bull run and daily transactions. Here's why. We were talking about this on BitBoy. The NFT volume has just been skyrocketing of late, and it's just been really, really booming, but the price hasn't been moving that much. And I explained a lot of what I believe to be happening on BitBoy last night, where I was basically going into the Ethereum. Like, this is Ethereum, earn rewards while securing Ethereum. There's 12,225,395 Ethereum staked right now. And by stake, these are locked up for like at least a year. Okay. And they're generating a 4% yield. That's cool. But you're locked in for a year. So if something happens, you can't get it. Whereas with Cardano, you're generally earning a higher yield, but you're not locked up. And at the same time, even though you're not locked up, 25.11 billion ADA is being staked right now, almost 74%. So the total supply is 34 billion. So the vast majority of Cardano right now is out there in the world already, and it's being staked. So the price movement that's happening in a bear market is happening on a small supply that's available on these exchanges. So the price action that you're seeing in a downtrend or a bear market is basically relative to a very small amount of the Cardano. And so, you know, the trading that you're seeing is ultimately affecting the price of everything being staked. In a bull market, when things really turn around and start cranking up, the price is going to turn around quickly. And we've seen this time and time again. We've seen that Cardano basically has a mind of its own. I believe wholeheartedly that Cardano is going to become one of the top. I mean, it already is one of the top, but like top 3 at worst blockchains in cryptocurrency. And I very much believe that it's going to overthrow Ethereum by the peak of this next bull market. I really do. And, you know, there's just too much going on with it. So anyway, fundamental growth of the network has always been a more important factor for digital assets in comparison to the short or even midterm price performance on the market. During Ethereum's activity rally, the price of the second biggest cryptocurrency market ran to the current all-time high of 48.50. Unfortunately, Cardano developers could not deliver NFT technologies during the bull run on the cryptocurrency market, which is why the network missed that wave of new investors who are looking for short-term profit on Ethereum and Solana. That's exactly it. When the next bull market hits, Cardano's going to have it all. And I mean, if you think that going from 2 cents to $3.14 in one bull peak without all of the functionality that it already has, let alone everything it's going to have by the next peak, if you don't think that that's going to be enough to overtake everything out there with security, true decentralization, throughput out the wazoo, all of the benefits that are going to be associated with Cardano, I'm telling you, you're in a delusional bubble, because I'm telling you right now, Cardano is going to outperform the vast majority of everything in the market. And technically, it kind of already is in a lot of sense. It's just not moving in price just yet because nobody's selling it. So that to me is really a big deal. And I mean, you know, this is pooltool.io. I mean, you can see a lot of the statistics right here. This is my node. This is Crow node. Hopefully you guys are delegating to that. I've had this active for so long, you know, and when a lot of pool operators have folded, mine stayed. Mine's up. It did take us like 2 epochs to update to Vassal. I will admit that. And I had other operators loving to point that out. Some of them are, I don't know, some of them are trying to be helpful. Who knows? You know, some of them legitimately are. But yeah, I mean, we produce blocks. We do really, really well with this. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty solid stuff. So that being said, if you're not delegating your ADA to a stake pool, even if it's not Crow node, you need to delegate it because you're not locked in. You can take it, you can move it, you can do whatever you want with it. Now, granted, if you're staking 10,000 ADA to a node and you end up spending 5,000 of it on NFTs, then you're only going to be generating a yield on the remaining 5,000 after the next epoch. So, but you're not locked in for life. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the Lace wallet, and I'm also very much looking forward to Cornucopias. And, for those of you guys that don't know about Cornucopias, I've done videos on this in the past. I plan on doing a lot more in the future once I get a build that's going to enable me to start building my land. I have multiple lands waiting. I plan on building on all of them, and I plan on building on all of them because I'm going to be able to do it myself, because the tools that they're building is going to enable me to do that. And this is what I was looking for the other day, is the Copy Wiki. This basically talks about all that. It's updated pretty frequently, but it talks about everything associated with the game, what to expect, how stuff is going to look, everything, man. I mean, they really detail everything about this game in here. I mean, there are videos and charts and all kinds of stuff. It's like an endless sea of information. I highly encourage you to check this out, because if you're into metaverse technology, if you're into Web3 and you're interested in where things are going, I believe, and I know I sound biased as hell, but here's another point. I know I sound biased when it comes to Cardano and some applications that are being built, games and applications being built on Cardano. I know I sound really biased. I'm not. And if I am, my bias is founded from data, from information, from what I'm seeing, not just some faint belief that things are going to be better, but I know what's being built and what this stuff means in the space. Right now, Kopi tokens are like 1.4, or no, not even, it's like 0.014 cents. So yeah, like basically a little over a penny. You can get like 1 million of these things for like 14 grand or so. And when they hit a centralized exchange, which is what I'm waiting for, I definitely plan on bulking up, because Decentraland, Sandbox, some of these other metaverse platforms, ultimately, they started around 2 cents, and they got, Sandbox was up to like $8.50. I mean, even if I had a couple million Kopi tokens and they got to $1 in the next peak, that's pretty good. So that's ultimately what I'm hoping, but I can see them getting to $2 or $3 by the next peak. So I definitely plan on bulking up on as much of that as I can and getting as involved in Cornucopias as possible, because I want my Cornucopias, my metaverses, my land, the buildings, everything that I plan on building, I want them tied into things like my SoBlocks. So yeah, that's basically what I've got going on here, and what I really think is going to be big stuff. So if you don't already know, you got to check it out. Now this is my social media platform. This is SoBlocks, and this is going to be big stuff. So anyway, my wife keeps blowing me up. She loves to blow me up when I'm like super busy, and then I don't hear anything from her at all when I'm bored. It's funny how that works. So anyway, this is SoBlocks, and this is still very, very limited. I mean, we're still working on stuff. But you can post, you can create your profile. We just added friends, so you're going to be able to add friends. So we're adding a lot of things. And, we have this big description of how we want SoBlocks to work. And it's unlike anything anybody's ever done. It's actually kind of ballsy, if I'm going to admit. But let's just say the cream either rises to the top or it goes away. And there are going to be public upvotes and voting for content. We want to set it up so that you can have public content, content behind a wall, a paywall, if you want to have exclusive content for any reason, all of that. And there's going to be so much involved, because we're going to have our NFT search engine integrated into this. So you're going to be able to search the entire Cardano blockchain for NFTs right here on SoBlocks. You're going to be able to mint NFTs and things like that right on SoBlocks. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be so much. And the thing of it is we're going to be doing a lot of these things. So we have we're going to be publishing a lot of this stuff, kind of the breakdown, not necessarily a white paper, but I guess you could call it a 3-sheet, where we're breaking down all of the functionality associated with what we're building on SoBlocks, so people can basically say, yeah, we like that or we don't. But then we're going to be launching these SoBlocks governance tokens, which are basically, they're not securities at all. You're not going to make money with these, okay? And outside of maybe if you resell them to somebody else, as SoBlocks continues to build, and you're like, I don't want to be a governance anything anymore, I don't want to make decisions, I'm going to sell this, and other people do. There are going to be perks and benefits associated with these, but ultimately this is going to be helping with the next round of development. Okay, it's ultimately going to help pay my developers bills while he's a full stack developer. He's like a high 6-figure guy, but he's working on this for much less, because he believes in what we're trying to build. So this is a way to basically keep him working and with a roof over his head while we're building that. But there are going to be some perks and benefits to these. And ultimately, we're going to be laying out a whole framework for the governance system, so that if we are considering a new idea, or somebody suggests a new idea or something that they'd like to see, then they'll be able to put that into the system, and then everyone else with a governance token will be able to cast a vote as to whether it's a yay or a nay. And then from this phase, we're going to continue building everything out, and then we're going to launch a Project Catalyst submission and hope that we get the support from the community, because I really do, and I've said this for a long time now, I want to have the first real legitimate decentralized based Cardano based social media platform on Cardano. and it's a tall order, and it is going to take time, and I'm trying to do everything I can to bring this to fruition. I definitely need help, because it's just not an easy task. And the way that we want this to work is, like I said, the cream rises to the top, and if it doesn't, over a period of 30 days, it just goes away. And the public will ultimately dictate what gets minted to the blockchain and remain forever. And because there are costs associated with minting to the blockchain, right? And so it's almost like everything you do is campaigning. You're trying to build a community around your page. This isn't just I don't really want this to be like a Facebook in the sense where it's like, okay, invite, you've got 5,000 people that you don't even know, that don't really care about anything you say. And you're just basically filling up a bunch of servers with a bunch of gobbledygook that means nothing. I don't want that. I want something that's consistent and real and true, and like it's all quality. So yeah, I mean, I definitely expect Soblox to be taken to but primarily by the technology world, initially, developers, writers, authors, artists, that sort of thing, and then from there it'll probably spread out. But ultimately, that's my focus. It's basically creating a platform by which people are able to build communities. They're incentivized to build these communities, and ultimately the reach will continue to grow, and basically they'll be able to mint stuff, they'll be able to build, they'll be able to play games, they'll be able to do things. I want to get other partners involved, so other Cardano based blockchain games, I want to bring them into the mix, integrate them in. So you've got Soblox games as kind of like a division. You click that and it breaks down all the different games and how they're integrated into Soblox so that you're able to play them right there. There's a lot of stuff that I want to do with Soblox, but it starts here, and that's where we're at. And like I said, this is all about building for the bear market. It's building for the bull market, but doing it in a bear market. And listen, the sky, it can't rain all the time. Okay, one of my favorite lines in the movie The Crow. Okay, it can't rain all the time. There's a lot of stuff that's going on, and it doesn't feel good. It doesn't seem good. It doesn't even seem right. It feels like we're trying to force a square peg into a round hole, and we're seeing it with every headline and everything that we do. It's very much not natural. I believe that so much of what is going on is not a natural course. It is a forced objective. It's a forced agenda that the majority of the people don't want. I mean, that's the way I see it. And there's so much associated with that. And it's making everybody down. It's, the spending, just everything associated with this is just not good. And even people that have 3 brain cells and can't read a full article, they're just headline skimmers, and they like adopt this narrative and they think it's all real. I kind of coined a term in my head today, and I called it energy momentum. It's or belief momentum. It's like, you plant a seed, you get somebody just interested enough, and then you keep nailing it until you're building this belief momentum that supersedes any real data, any rationality, anything that makes sense. And it's been proven so many times that's exactly what's going on. And some people are just a lot more susceptible to that sort of thing, especially if you're able to capitalize on emotional triggers or things that really matter to them. Nothing else matters beyond that. And so you just keep nailing it until you start getting an emotionally triggered response, leaning in the direction you want them to lean. And my hope is that we just kind of find a happy medium somewhere, and we're able to start progressing forward in a way that matters and means something to everyone. And I do hope we see that, and I think we're there, because honestly, I don't like getting very political, but there is some merit to some of the crazy stuff happening on the left. Okay. I'm not a leftist. I'm not a right winger. I'm not any of that. I'm very much independent of mind and thought. I read it all. I expose myself to everything from both sides. And it's definitely easy to get caught up in a lot of things. There are definitely some significant things that have happened recently that I do not agree with, obviously. I think that is the majority. Unless you're just absolutely out to lunch, it's impossible to not see. All you have to do is look, or make the slightest effort to look. But outside of that, hoping that ultimately is okay long term, which I'm not convinced it will be, but we'll see. I think that, we will ultimately find a happy medium where everyone feels included, everyone feels a part of something, everyone feels a part of a community, and the fighting can stop, the hate can subside, and we can all start to build together. And that is truly my hope. And I really believe in my heart that we will find that day. But it starts with us being able to have open conversation and building together. I so often see arguments online that very, very quickly, I've had them where very quickly, anytime somebody feels challenged or whatever, they either just disappear altogether because they don't know what to say, or they just immediately start insulting, right? And it's like, if you lack if your convictions are so strong that you're shouting them from rooftops, you should be able to intelligently educate others on why that conviction exists to begin with. And in that, the sense behind it. And if there's data involved or anything other than just assumptions based off of an emotional trigger. And that's really a two-sided thing. Like, it's not this side or that side, because I see both sides do it. Everybody's so quick to start insulting one another. And that is the division that I believe empowers the people that are above us to be able to control and micromanage so many of us in so many ways. And that's why I say, in the recent video, united we stand, divided we will absolutely fall. And while you might think that somebody is working in your favor because of this particular issue, you have to start asking yourself, maybe they're giving me 10 cents to take $10. Is it worth it? And that's the question that I never see anybody asking anywhere. It's just they're constantly drilling these emotional trigger points to affect a response from people that are emotionally triggered by these issues. And it's like, it's the same as like with, these bills and pandemic relief bills and things. It's like, well, you need like trillions of dollars, but only a few billion are actually going towards its cause. Where's the rest of the money going, and why? And why so much? And why has so much been printed just in the last 2 years that's ultimately created this tax on everyone, this inflation, these increased prices across the board? The interest rates going up. People just don't understand the fundamentals of economics, and they get bought in by these narratives that seemingly try to justify so much crazy town stuff. And again, they're manipulated by these triggers. And I really do hope for a time sooner than later where we can all start standing together, because we just can't make real progress when we're so divided. And I really wish I had a means of like running for some sort of political office, because I wouldn't be liked by some, for sure. But I would definitely always be straight, and I would always be working towards creating a legacy of change for the better for everyone, not just one side or the other. But it's just our system's not really built for people like me. And I'm not an ass kisser, and I'm not I don't know. I'm just not anything that I think it takes to be really good in politics. I think you kind of have to be half crazy to be truly political, and that's just not my way. But anyway, to each their own. I know I've rambled a lot in this video. It's 36 minutes long, and I'm not even live, so there's a lot of thought, but I guess I'm just kind of rambling a little bit, just sharing some of my thoughts for the day. It's Tuesday, 10:25. I guess in the grand scheme of things, all I'm saying is now really is the time to start focusing on what you believe, what you want to achieve, and start doing it. Because the market is cyclical, and I don't care what anybody says or how bad things get, it will get better in time. And how you come out ahead is going to depend on what you do right now. So continue educating yourself, spend some boring hours reading about things that you may or may not be interested in specifically. Like if you're in crypto, maybe you only like NFTs, but maybe you spend some time learning about the technology that empowers them. You know, I'm looking to get into the Airbnb business. I want to basically launch a few Airbnbs as a side project, some passive income streams. Not really passive. You kind of got to work for it a little, but you know, but income streams and outside of the crypto space. We've got a few years, I believe, until we really see any big money in the crypto space. We've got a while. A lot of changes are going to come. Regulations going to come. A lot of things are going to happen between now and in 2025, 2026, maybe 27. I don't think so, but I'm guessing the peak to be somewhere around 2026, maybe the end of the year. And I just want to be ready for it, you know, because I really do. I want to get to a point where, you know, maybe by some time in that point, I do run for some sort of political office. Maybe by that point, I start a big foundation where, you know, I'm able to institute change in different places that matter. You know, the older I get, the more I really do worry. And I wonder, what will my legacy be? What will my legacy be as a man, as a father, as a husband, as a friend, as a leader of whoever I might be leading? You know, what does that mean to people someday, 50 years from now? Will I have mattered 50 years from now? I want to, but how? These are the things that I think about that honestly keep me up at night. And I think there's an opportunity for everyone, but you just have to figure out what your place is in it is, and it's not always easy. But there is one. And, you know, one of the best ways to find it is to just explore everything until you find something that you sit well in and you thrive in, that inspires you, that interests you, and empowers you. So that's it. I just wanted to say that today and leave it at that. Let me know, like, what questions do you guys have? I will also let you know, and if you've been listening this whole time, first of all, thank you for listening to me ramble about a lot of randomness today. I do plan on having Charles on for an interview soon. Let me know in the comments below what sort of questions you like me to talk to him about. What would you like to see Charles and I discuss? And until next time, guys, crow your coins, and I'll see you soon.